Hey, Jessica Hensley here with Heritage Homes team brokered by eXp Realty. And today I am joined with one of our preferred lenders, Mason Whitehead with Churchhill Mortgage.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for coming up.
My pleasure.
Mason lives in Texas. Where do you live?
I work in Dallas, live in Frisco technically.
Okay. That's very far.
It's just a northern suburb. If you like the Cowboys, I'm right next to their new practice facility, training center, and headquarters.
Okay, cool. So Mason and we got connected because of Dave Ramsey. Churchhill is a Dave Ramsey endorsed, right?
We're the only mortgage company he recommends nationwide.
Okay. Yeah. And so I was a ELP for quite a while while I was growing my business. And so Mason was a rock star. Every time I got assigned a lead, before I could even call them, you were calling them. Pretty much.
That's the goal.
Yeah. And that was about 5 years ago. So now we work with Mason. One thing I love about working with Churchhill is you guys are really good about keeping us in the loop, and you pretty much give us a call, text, email, or all of the above weekly to give us a status on what's going on.
Yeah. Our processing team is required to call and email every client, every agent every week.
I love it.
No exceptions.
I like processes though, so it's good. So what we're going to do on Wednesdays, I give a market report. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to pick Mason's brain a little bit. So if you have a question about mortgages or the market, feel free to comment below, and he'll do his best to answer. Putting him on the spot a little bit. But so right now in the MLS, there are 189 active homes, and I know I told you guys before, but I can remember a time when we had over 200 in just our county. So having only 189 for the entire MLS is really, really low inventory still, which is why we're seeing the multiple offers and home selling pretty quickly. There are currently 50 active contingent homes, which means that they're under contract, but they're waiting for a contingency to be fulfilled, such as inspection or financing of some way. There are currently 147 pending properties, and the average days on the market right now are 80 days, and that's from list to close. So you got to factor in that time in between when it goes under contract and they're getting their financing and things like that in order. And then the average list to sell price for the last 30 days was 97.03%, which means if it was listed at 100, on average, it sold for $97,300. So that's kind of how that works. If you'll remember last week when I reported, it was at 104%. So there must have been a couple sales that happened that were a little below list price, but really on average, I'm seeing a trend of pretty much close to asking, if not above asking, for those highly sought after properties. And then the average price point of sales in the last 30 days was 114. And if you remember, I've talked about this the last couple of weeks. In years past, we were seeing an average of 75, 85. So we've really increased our average overall in the Southeast Kansas market. So I have a question for you, Mason.
Sure.
What do you think is going to happen to the interest rates in the next year?
The most famous question for lenders.
Mm-hmm, yep.
If I had a crystal ball, I'd be a millionaire by now.
Yes.
What you got to watch for in the market right now is really inflation. And You've been seeing a lot of reports in the news about inflation. It's the highest it's been in a long time.
Right.
Inflation puts upward pressure on interest rates. So everything's supply and demand. So when the stock market's doing well, people take money out of the bond market, put it in stocks. Mm-hmm. So therefore, rates have to go up to be attractive to investors for bonds. But at the same time, when inflation pressures are out there, that means the cost of products is going up, and inflation leads to higher interest rates. Okay. So you're going to have higher interest rates. It's going to happen. I wish I could keep it down. The Federal Reserve has been keeping interest rates artificially low for many, many years now, since the financial crisis, pretty much back in 08-09.
Right.
By buying mortgage-backed securities, which created a market of demand for them, which has kept the rates extremely low. They've been telegraphing at their most recent couple of meetings. They're tapering. You may hear the word tapering in the news. They're tapering, which means they're slowing down that bond buying, which is going to send rates up. So that combined with inflationary pressures, you're going to have higher interest rates. Now, keep that relative. Okay. Like we're in the low threes, the low mid threes.
Right.
If rates go up to the upper threes, fours, historically speaking, you're still fantastic.
Still rip.
Yeah. It's not like we're going to like 15% again, like it was back in my parents' days when they were buying houses when I was a kid. They're buying at 15, 16% interest rates.
And people are still buying houses.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
People are always going to move. They're always going to buy. People may always need, to refinance to shorten the term, pay it off faster, or to, cash out for some repairs or remodeling, things like that. But
So do you think that it's going to go up just like a couple like basis points every quarter, or what do you?
I have to put my
kinda hard to say.
magic,
Yeah.
8-ball hat here on. I'd probably say you're probably gonna be looking right now. The rates for a 30-year fixed are typically in the low to mid threes. I wouldn't be surprised if early next year they're in the upper threes.
Okay.
But the Fed tapering is what you really got to watch for. So when the Fed really starts pulling back on that bond buying, that's when they're going to go up.
Okay.
And as they start doing that next year, they telegraph next year they're going to start doing that. That's when you're going to see a lot of movement. So really, I'm telling everybody right now, like Dave Ramsey says, don't speculate. If you can lock in a rate sooner than later, do it.
Okay.
Because why risk it?
Well, and do you feel that the market is going to go down in value or crash in value? Meaning real estate
market, right? I really don't see that because it's all based upon supply and demand.
Right.
And what we're seeing around the country right now is the work from home movement. Mm-hmm. Over half my buyers right now are remote workers.
Yep.
And they're moving to lower cost areas.
Here.
Like here, right?
Yeah.
Like here.
Yeah.
So that as long as people can work from home, they're going to go to low cost area that creates demand.
Yeah.
And even if rates are still in the 3s or 4s, it's still awesome cost of debt. So I don't see that slowing down as long as there's something and there's a driver locally for people to want to be in the area.
Yeah, I get asked a lot. Well, I'm just going to wait the market out. It's got to turn around sometime. And while I don't disagree with that, it's definitely a very hot market. I don't see it changing. Based on what I'm hearing, for a while I was being told because of the forbearance that there would be a flood of foreclosures, but we're not seeing it. Exactly. We're not seeing it. And I think that, with the way the forbearance was written, as long as somebody starts paying their mortgage again, right? They might have gotten used to not paying. So I guess that's a possibility.
Right.
But
there are some news stories about that out there, but it's the exception rather than the rule.
Right. Yeah. As long as they start paying their mortgage again, it's pretty unlikely that they would be foreclosed on.
The rule is 3 months. You got to get 3 months current before you can refinance or do anything else and get a new mortgage.
Okay.
So just get current for 3 months. Or in some cases, you can just sell, and that brings your mortgage current when you sell.
Okay.
As long as you pay back all the payments that were due.
Right.
I've got a couple of those clients right now that are buying a new house, and they were in forbearance. So it's very specific. You got to talk to your loan officer first because there's specific ways you have to do that, depending if you're going conventional or FHA, and the rules regarding that to qualify again. But either the simplest answer is get current for 3 months, and then do something else.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us and coming up to Independence, and I'll see everyone next week. Bye.